In this video, I'm going to show you how to create dynamic chart title with formatting with the use of only pivot table and slicer. If I change the year on a slicer, you can see my chart title automatically update, all of the number update, and even the color update based on the person changes, either negative, either positive. And more or less, if I click on 2021, we have a large number of cells, but the space in chart is still consistent, and we have only used pivot table, nothing complex here. Just you need to understand the concept behind this chart title, and you can apply this title on any kind of chart. The first thing, we need to simply click on table anywhere and go to insert pivot table. We will insert pivot table on a new worksheet. First, I need to input sales data field on a rows. I will remove the year field, quarter field, and also I will remove the sales date. The next thing, I will simply input total sale amount on a values field, and now it's calculated total sale for all of the year on monthly basis. The next thing, I will simply right click format number, and I will choose currency with 0 decimal point and simply hit OK. The next thing, I will simply click insert slicer, and I will insert the slicer based on year field and simply hit OK. The next thing, I will simply click on slicer setting, hide item with no data, and simply hit OK. The next thing, I will simply click on pivot table and insert any type of chart. In this case, I will insert column chart. I will remove the legend and also hide all field button. Next, I will move this chart a little bit to the bottom side, and also I will move the slicer to the very left side. The next thing, I will simply select all of the entire table, hit Ctrl C, click here, hit Ctrl V, and this is how we duplicate pivot table. Next thing, I will click on pivot table analyze. I will click on field list, and for now I will simply uncheck months, and instead of month I want to display years. Now if I select any of the year, it will filter out those year total sale amount. The next thing, I think better to of the grand total, I will simply click on design of the grand total for rows and column. Now notice one important thing here. Let's say I'm going to rename this table with total sale amount 2 words only. If I click on 2022, you can see column width automatically auto-fit. If I click on 2021, the column automatically auto-fit based on the number present in F2 cell. Now for example, I just renamed this cell with some longer name. And now if I use slicer, let's say I'm clicking on 2022. Now you can see my cell automatically auto-fit based on the name of heading. So this is the logic behind to develop dynamic formatted header without extra spacing problem. Okay, so we are done with the concept. Now we are going to build the dynamic title. So this is my static title. Now the goal is to make it dynamic along with the formatting. Okay, so the first thing, I will simply click on my table and I will close format shape, and now I can see pivot table fields. The first thing, I need to bring here units. So I will simply input quantity on a values field, and since we want to auto fit based on the number not on the title, so I will use a very short title. Simply type Q and hit enter. And now if I change the year, you can see it's automatically auto fit based on the number, but here you can see we have many decimal points. So first we need to right click format cell, and we need to choose number with 0 decimal point and simply hit OK. So now if I change the slicer, you can see it's automatically auto fit based on the number. The next thing, we want to show unit sold for. So I will write those here, and I will hide those numbers. So I will simply click right click format cell, and here I will choose custom and simply type 3 times semicolon. Hit OK, and now if I change the slicer, you can see the column is automatically auto fit based on the header irrespective of the total sale. The next thing, we need to show the total sale for selected year. So I will input total sale amount field again on the values, and this time I will type a very small heading, let's say total sale, because I want to auto fit the column weight based on the number, not on the title this time. I will simply right click format cell. I will choose currency 0 decimal point and simply hit OK. And now if I change my slicer, you can see it's automatically auto fit based on the number. Even if I select 2021, for which I intentionally input a larger number, you can see it's automatically auto fit. Okay, the next thing, we need to type in year. So for this, I will insert, let's say, quantity field again. And for the title, I will simply write in year. And for the number, I will simply right click format cell, but you can simply click on this cell, format painter, and click on I2. And this is how we can apply the same formatting to hide the number. Now if I change the year, you can see it's automatically auto fit based on the header since there is no number. The next thing, we need to show 2023. So there is no option to dynamically show 2023. But if you notice, there is a 4 character, and always in year we have the 4 character. So if I simply write year, which has also 4 character, and I will simply reference E2 cell and hit enter. And now I will double click to auto fit manually. Now if I change, you can see everything is perfect. The next thing, we need to show percent changes based on the total sale. I will select my entire pivot table, click here, Ctrl V, and this is how we duplicate the pivot table. But I will rename this pivot table since I want to disconnect this pivot table from my slicer. I will click on pivot table analyze and click on pivot table, and I will rename this, let's say, percent change. Now we need to remove all of the other field, and I will simply insert total sale amount. The next thing, I will clear the filter, and I will select my slicer, click on slicer setting report connection, and I want to disconnect percent change pivot table. Hit OK. Now instead of value, I want to show here a percent changes. So I will right click on my pivot table and show value as percent difference from previous year and simply hit OK. Now the goal is to show positive as a green and negative as a red. So I will right click on this pivot table, number format, custom. So here you can see 0.00%. I will write semicolon, open bracket, and simply write red, close bracket, 0.00%, close parenthesis, and hit OK. Now you can see anywhere the number is negative, they will show in red, also in parentheses, and the other will be green. I will simply click here equal, and I will simply click on F2. But here you can see get pivot table function automatically apply, and if I simply hit enter, it's written the same answer. But if I change the year, oh, what is happening? It will show ref error. So instead of get pivot table, we simply type equal and manually type F2 and hit enter. Click here equal, and this time I will reference G1 since this is my header. Equal, simply type H2 manually, enter. Equal, select the header I1, enter. Equal, select the year, selected. Now I will click ignore error, also click ignore error. And now we need to bold this one. You can apply any type of formatting. You can apply conditional formatting, whatever you want, you can simply apply those tips. Now we need to build the next line title. So next line is actually percent changes and the number. So instead of this row label, I will simply type percent changes. Instead of this title, I will make a very small title, let's say percent, because I want to auto fit based on the number. Simply double click for first time to auto fit. And now I will simply type equal, click on L1 percent changes, click here equal, and now we will type a very simple VLOOKUP. Select the year, This is actually a selected year from a slicer. Select the entire table, hit comma. We want to bring the video from second column, exact match, close parenthesis, hit enter. And now if I change, you can see it's automatically bringing the percentage but in fraction format. So if I click anywhere on my pivot table, simply double click, apply the same format. And now if I change, you can see for negative value, it will automatically show in red, also in parentheses, and for the positive value, it will show in black. Now for the default color, I will choose green. This means this is a positive changes. Hit Ctrl B. Hit Ctrl B. I want to keep the changes in a black color. If I change 2022, you can see it's become red. For 2021, this is 0% changes. Here you can see a small green rectangle. We simply click ignore error. Now I will off the grid line and I will insert a new worksheet and I will call dashboard. I will simply cut my slicer, also my chart, hit Ctrl X, go to dashboard, hit Ctrl V. I will do a little bit formatting here. And now we need to delete the static title. And I will click here, decrease the chart area so that I have the space for my title. Simply go to pivot table sheet and select all of the cell which has a title, hit Ctrl C, click on dashboard, right click, paste as a link image and sit on your chart area. Go to pivot table again, select all of the cell, hit Ctrl C, go to dashboard, right click, paste as a link picture and sit on your chart area. But here you can see a little bit more space. How we can adjust? If I go to pivot table report, I will click percent changes and I will move this to right align and just make left align. Now if I go to my dashboard, the space is perfect now. For now, if I change my slicer, you can see it's automatically auto adjust irrespective of the larger number. The space is always equal, and this is how we can develop formatted header for our chart. I hope you learned something useful. If you like the video, please subscribe my channel for more video. And if you have anything in mind, please write in comment. Thank you so much.